Okay, Schlemizel, Schlemazel, Schlemazel. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Elk Lodge podcast. It's a beautiful day here at the Elk Lodge. I like when you said that in the last episode. Today on the show we have Chelsea Lauren Judith Lopez, a good friend of ours who's an actress and a
musician,
a poet, like a freestyler.
Fashion icon.
I met her through JC, who you all know, and we all hung out a few months ago, and we kind of just like immediately got into making music and getting weird and people just freestyling, free flowing, whatever was coming out, and we had like the best time.
Totally.
And we kept saying like, man, we got to get Chelsea back over here. We should get her on the podcast. We got to hang out, make more music. Like she left an impression, I would say. A very good one. And yeah, so we love this girl, and this was a lot of fun to have her on the show. We talk about sort of the mentality, I suppose, of acting and emoting.
Yeah, and she's really been on this kind of lifelong pursuit of acting and really feels called to the field. And I know we've got some homework to do to watch more of her, but she definitely, from where we're sitting already, it's very clear she's got the star power.
Mm-hmm. She has it.
She has it.
And after the show, we did make a bunch of music, of course, and it was a lot of fun. So we're going to get to that in 1 second, actually maybe like 35 seconds, because first we want to talk to you about our sponsor, Hexa Coffee. Hexa Coffee has been keeping this show afloat and caffeinated since pretty much the beginning. It's run by a good friend of ours, Parker Slade. It's real people making coffee. It's what you want. They source beans from all over the world, but they roast them right there in the city of Chicago. And if you go to hexacoffee.com and buy some coffee or some merch or some mugs, if you use the promo code ELK, you get 10% off of your total purchase. So do that. Support the podcast. Support yourself. Support Hexa Coffee. And without further ado, Chelsea Lauren Judith Lopez.
Oh, Opa!
Hey! Oh, okay.
Off to the races.
I'm on my coffee
start.
vibe, but this is
Yeah,
good.
I'll get it.
Oh, thank you, Christine.
Can I move this?
Well.
Cool.
Yeah, please move it nice and close, as close as you can get. Okay, well, welcome to the show. That's a great way to start with an explosion.
An explosion.
We've never had an explosion on this program.
Well, you've got a lucky lady, and she is helping assist.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome, Chels.
Thank you. It's so good to see you too.
Yeah,
Back
so
at
good to see you
you
as well.
I love your corn hat.
Thank you. I
It's
felt
corn.
like this outfit was really corny, so I went with the corn hat.
I like your style a lot. Like,
Thank you.
It's timely, though, this hat. You know, the corn boy is having quite a moment.
What?
The corn boy. Are you not
Who
familiar?
is the corn boy? No, I heard someone refer to a corn boy actually just today or something. I'm like, who's a corn boy?
There's like a young boy who was maybe like 7 or something, got interviewed at a state fair over the summer.
Is he like the I like turtles guy?
Yeah, he's like the new I like turtles
He's basically
kid.
his replacement, and he is just gushing. He's eating an ear of corn, and he's gushing about corn, about how he's like
little kid.
Yeah,
and
what's
this
not
guy
to love?
interviews.
It's corn.
I
He's
love
so
that
excited.
guy. I don't know his name, but he interviews kids.
I think
it's his
so.
Instagram deal.
I
and
couldn't
Does he
tell you
interview
who
that kid about
does
the
it.
dragon?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
You guys got to check it out.
Gotta check
and
out the corn boy.
I heard, I'm blanking on what state he's from. I want to say it's like Iowa or something, but he's like now the state rep for like
No way.
corn or something. Like he got a deal out of it. This like little boy is hustling the system just for his genuine love of corn.
Well, I think happiness is infectious.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and like,
And it's hard to come by these days, like, you know, to truly be, I've been meditating on this a lot, but like inner peace and like inner happiness and like how you can't teach anyone that. Or like, I try not to give advice nowadays. I was talking to this with Jack, my boyfriend in the car. Just, I used to be an advice giver, and now I'm just, the more I get to know myself, the more quiet and happy I am.
That's awesome.
that
I
is
love
cool.
that. I was
So,
just thinking that to myself the other day. Stop giving unsolicited advice. Like that's not a good hobby.
Jack had a great saying, what was it? It was, would you like advice, or would you like me to hold space to ask the questions?
That's wise.
Christine will do that really well too, actually. She'll be like, do you want me to, if she could tell like I'm stressed, she'll be like, do you want me to help you, or do you want me to just like listen, or something like that? Like,
it's hard to tell
and it's
sometimes.
actually, you handle it really well.
That's love.
Yeah, it is very helpful. Then I'm like, next time you were stressed out, I was like, okay, wait, now I know what to say. Another way to handle it. I'm like stealing all your tricks.
Yeah, we've come a long way. I used to give on Paul all the time because he was a fixer. He wanted, if I was sad, he just had to fix it, which is very endearing. But
yeah,
there's an altruistic quality to that. But I do believe that sometimes holding space is a braver move.
Yeah, I'm usually.
It is, because it represents like a smart, wise, intelligent like boundary that you're putting up, because you can't take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself. And
For sure.
if you're overextending yourself to constantly take care of other people, you kind of can easily get out of whack and off balance. And
my favorite quote was from this very controversial book, but I read it in middle school, honors English, The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. But I love some of the poetry in it. I don't get into the politics of her, but one must first know how to say I before saying I love you always stuck with me, or I can't live for you, but I can die for you, which just resonates with me, of like art, like, really diving into artistry and like living for your art and dying for it if you need to, but being true to like who you are.
Yeah, I think powerful. Like authenticity, like genuineness, we're so attracted to. Like with this corn kid, it's like a kid just has that. He doesn't even understand, like that's why we're loving it, but we're loving it because he's like this real genuine, just loving the fuck out of this corn. Like he's not like a YouTuber like, hey guys, how are you today? Like that
today
positivity.
I like corn.
Yeah, let me
exactly.
It's not rehearsed.
That
just
positivity is like toxic and bullshit, and it's like we just feel the fakeness of it. But when it's a kid who just genuinely loves it, like we're just so drawn to the
My
beauty.
friend describes it as like true blue, when you're just like so genuine and like exactly what, you are what you seem kind of thing. Like,
this kid's art is like eating corn.
But it resonates with our bodies, and I think that's a big thing for me too lately, is like, like, do I feel it in my body? Like, because there's fake positivity out there and toxic narratives, but oftentimes I'll feel that in my head, like, you must do better. But when something really resonates with your soul or with your heart, it is felt in the body.
If you're going through something like these types of thoughts as an actress, when you're acting, are you going through it also as an actor? Like if like for the next 9 months, you're really like exploring something like this and you take a role, is that role going to also incorporate everything you're going through? Or are you able to just separate that and be like, now this is like a totally different version of me who's not going through things that I'm going through? Well, my
characters are different than me for sure, and that's the beauty of them, is like, I love characters that are like different and difficult, and they're like further of a reach. But I think I know who I am, so I'm able to use some of that as fuel for like, we're all pretty similar. We feel, I used to say 5 emotions, but now I'm pretty sure it's like 24 emotions, like scientifically. But I'll start with like my main 5, like, my happiness, my sadness, my longing, my, my intrinsic shit that I'm figuring out. And I'll ask myself how I'm like that character and how I'm different from that character. And the stuff that I'm like her with, I don't really have to work on as much. It's, I start there as a jumping point, and then I'm able to like use my imagination to understand how we differ.
That's a wise strategy. You've already you can tap into this experience as like a reference point for all the stuff.
The human condition.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
And then the other stuff you have to like dig deep a little. That makes sense. That's a cool approach.
Yeah, I used to judge acting a little bit as like not this like, I don't know. I just associated it so much with like fame and like, like ego that I failed to see it as like quite the art form that it is. But now I realize like it's actually one of the more pure art forms, because it's like giving people like, you're exercising like someone else's like whole emotions and like whole being, and someone watching it is like getting that feeling. Because a lot of art is just like giving a feeling to someone.
I'm a New Yorker, so I talk over.
Talk over, go.
I learned this in therapy recently. I take up space. But Melissa Leo comes to mind, and I worked on this movie called Novitiate, which was about nuns during Vatican II. And I was so nervous for my monologue that I had to do in the middle of this room. And I think she could sense my nerves, and she whispered in my ear. And she's won an Oscar. Like, she's really a profound artist. And she gave me a few words of wisdom, but it was like, you've got it inside of you. Trust and think the character's thoughts and go. And that gave me permission and freedom to like embody another person and realize that I will come back to myself always, you know, because that's just kind of the art form.
So is there a fear for some actors that you're not going to come back
well,
from your
I
character?
do a form of method acting, I'd say. I don't talk about it very much in public, but there are some actors who lose their minds in roles, you know. Like most famously, I don't know much about the Joker movies, but you know, that's a deep role to dark,
right.
You know, like I think of Jim and Andy, that movie where Jim Carrey, who I love very much, but he just kind of like yells at the crew and like uses them for his character. I would never do that. Like, to me, that's kind of, I hesitate to say but I believe there's bad behavior with method acting. And then there's kind of like purity. And so there's a balance. You always have to find the balance, but I'd rather do all the work myself. And then like have headphones. Music's really helpful for me, like playlists. So I'll make playlists for my characters, and I'll always tell the director, like, I'm here with you, but I'm in my method shit, so just tap me on the shoulder if you need me, and then I'll talk to them as me.
The stuff Jim Carrey did for like playing Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon, that was method, right?
I've never seen that movie.
But the thing where the Jim and Andy thing where he's yelling at everybody and like,
yes, that's
like
a form of
becomes a
method.
character.
I
That's
believe
method.
that's method acting.
And then, but okay.
I don't know him, so I'd have to ask him.
Sure,
but
sure.
Yeah.
But that idea of like, I'm gonna show up on set
and be
as
that
the character.
person.
You're gonna like.
To me, I would
like,
never do that
think,
personally. Yeah.
Right, but that is method, right?
Yeah, I
But then
believe
also
so.
this is method too. I guess I don't understand I don't know.
I guess there's
broad
different
definition.
dimensions to it. Method acting is embodying a character, I believe. I do a form called sense memory, which is tapping into your senses, past memories, using music and your senses to connect you to the character. So oftentimes that is, I mean, I learned this since I was 7, and it's very controversial because, you know, to teach a 7-year-old method acting is, you know, my first acting class, I was in class with Common, the rapper, you know, like really great savant artists, all learning a technique. And I became like an assistant teacher for kids with my mentor, who's a very renowned mentor. And so I learned this at a young age, and my dad started learning it with me and all of this stuff. But yeah, basically like out of air, I sculpt like past memories or people to connect me to my characters. So like say I have to feel a sense of love and longing, or like I miss someone. I'll think of my mom because my mom's away right now. She's in New Jersey and she's coming to visit me. But those feelings in my body will come up the minute I think of her. I'll put on a piece of music that reminds me of her. And I know that like the character's experience is different than mine, but I'll just see her blue eyes. And those feelings will start to come up. I'll see her necklace. If I really stay there with this thing, right now I'm with you guys, I'm fine, I'm good. You know what I mean? But I can activate tears. I'm in control of my muscle memory, essentially.
So method is like using triggers to literally feel what your character is feeling, versus other techniques would just be to learn how to sort of mimic it.
Or say the lines, or use fake tears. Or no, I'm doing the real shit.
But method is just really, you're actually feeling, if you're playing angry,
I'm channeling,
you're angry.
I'm channeling anger.
Yeah.
The
and
emotion.
You're feeling the anger. Like if things were hooked up to your brain, it would know no difference between if you were actually angry, like Chelsea was angry at someone, or if your character is angry.
Well, that's for the audience to like understand. You know what I mean? Like decide. Like, you know, I know that like in that moment in that character, she's angry, so I'm going to be fucking pissed. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to bring the real raw talent to the table kind of vibe, you know? But in a grounded way where, I believe all good artists are vessels.
Yeah. What you said?
It's so smart too, though, because so much memory and is tied through music. My God, it's like amazing how you can hear a song you haven't heard in decades, and all of a sudden you're singing every word. And so
it reminds you of like childhood, or this song reminds you of Paul, or you know,
like that one
activates.
summer, like oh wow, like I'm there, I'm in that summer.
Yeah, music is a good one to link onto. That's cool. Where did you?
It's actually more music for me than it is watching movies.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Like I love rap,
cool.
and like my last role I just shot in Seattle, and it was like Pop Smoke was like speaking to my soul, you know. And I used to I made my castmate crack up because I'd be like, what's that line in this song where he's like, just his like deep voice I would do for the other actor, and he would just smile, and it would be tense on set, maybe like, you know, they're like trying to run on time, and I'd be like, Pop Smoke, you know, and he'd be like, ah.
You ever use food to trigger something, like a certain meal or a certain smell to trigger like a character?
Smells,
you know, I'd say
smells a good one.
True. Smells
powerful too.
Smells, yes, but I'd say my emotion is like my go-to, but sometimes smells, yeah. I studied like my mentor would like with her mentor sit in a room and like do sense memory classes for like 5 hours straight and just create the warmth of the coffee cup that's not there. Do you know what I mean? But like in your imagination, just practicing your mind's eye, you know, like the warmth and the shape and the, you know, to get your mind, it's basically to get out of your head and into your body. And I teach this to my friends sometimes who care about acting or long to know, you know, how to channel emotion.
Like you want to get into a flow state where you're not thinking, you're just doing, you're skipping that step.
Yeah, you mentioned meditation earlier too. It makes sense that you do that in multiple realms of your life, but that's just such a
I'm a deep thinker.
Practice.
I'm like, meditation has like been such a tool for me, but it's like daily meditation. It's like moment by moment meditation for me, you know, because I have a very creative brain and I'm very busy minded, but it's important to me to like always just be in the stillness. My dad always says to me that like stillness is like a blanket, you know, like God's blanket. Just kind of like be zen.
That's nice.
I think that's what's so hard for people, right? Usually when the stillness comes in, there's all the other things that creep in.
The mind, the ego,
right?
Chatters.
Like, you know, you take away all the sounds of the day and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm alone. You never felt it, you know, like for a lot of people, and I've been there too, but I like the silence. I like the quiet for the most part. I like being alone, but you know.
But then getting your mind to be quiet and still
that's such
like
a different reality too. Oh my God,
and I think it's like a daily process. Like, you know, like no one's ever like, I'm enlightened or I've got it. I think it's genuinely like, you know, shit always comes up and it's like, I love the word alchemize, but how do we alchemize it? Like how this rapper, Toby, that I follow says like, you know, like, how are you when times get tough? You know what I mean? Like that's the real show of character. It's like when shit's
or when no one's watching.
Well.
You ever hear that one? When like, what do you do when no one's watching? You know, like you're gonna lock.
I watch a lot of Kanye and like random things. 3, 4, 7, 8, and
watch TV.
So when did your journey with meditating begin? How long have you been practicing?
Well, I started acting when I was 7, and around that time, my godmother, my aunt, Renee, she taught me transcendental meditation around that age, I believe, and it freaked me out because she's a trippy character and I love her very much. But I did it and I was like, okay, I'm going to sit still and do this thing. And my teeth were vibrating, I was like just in flow state, I guess. And I was like, yeah, Renee, my teeth are vibrating. Like, what does this mean? And she was like, oh my God, that's like profound. This is great. And I was like, I don't think meditation's for me. And I just kind of went on learning the art of acting and fighting with my mind a lot. And then I've since found that like that which you resist persists, and that which you avoid, you probably should take a closer look at. And meditation was one of those things. And I think I was subconsciously doing it with my coach, because we do these relaxations in class where she's like, okay, put your hand on your heart and see what's coming up, or, you know, and she guides meditation, which is what I do for my friends sometimes. It's just help guide.
And like the body mapping, it sounds like you're a little bit familiar with
What's that?
It's like this idea of identifying physical places in your body where you experience an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's some that we kind of inherently know, like trust your gut, where you pay attention to your stomach and you're going to have sort of those anxious feelings in your stomach. So you should pay attention. There's, you know, kind of these reactions where you might feel really tense in your shoulders. And why is that? Because you're stressed about something at work, and like really trying to pinpoint the physical part of what's happening.
I guess I maybe without knowingly doing that, I did that, but it's more so sending breath for me. Like when my shoulders are tense, I'm like,
oh, you like imagine bringing the oxygen and the breath there.
Yeah.
That's
or
cool.
like light, like scanning the body with like, you know, white light.
That's lovely.
So what?
I'm not a meditation teacher, I swear.
No,
but
I like it though. I
You're
like it.
schooling me. You are schooling me.
What so what made you want to start acting specifically? Like what led
it was
to
a
that?
calling from God straight up when I was 7. Like I told my mom that, and now I'm just coming to terms with it. I'm not even like a very religious person. I'm more spiritual. I'm almost like, yeah, but I was 7. I wore negative energy rings at 7, like hematite rings and stuff, which I still wear to this day.
They're negative energy
cool
rings?
since forever,
So what does that mean?
basically.
They give you like
No, it's hematite. It's just supposed to like soak in bad energy.
Oh, it soaks in
you
the
know,
bad
and then
energy.
it breaks when it fills up. I don't know if it's a real. I like crystals and shit because
Cool.
it helps me think that it's grounding.
Cool.
But yeah, no, I was 7 years old, and it was down to me and Dakota Fanning for Charlotte's Web. And originally it was me who was going to play the lead role of Fern. I signed a 5-picture deal with Paramount Studios. And I just have this memory of like having a ring on, and it broke in the shower, and I was like, it's a bad sign.
Oh, no.
But my sister started acting first. And then I begged my mom to do it. And my little sister begged my mom to do it. So we all started this class at Actors Training Institute, which was like a little dingy school in New Jersey that I got some techniques from. Like I actually just emailed my first acting teacher, Sandra Croft, and I just like checked in with her and was like, thank you for like starting me off. And I'm a big fan of like never forgetting your roots and like who you grow up with and who you come up with, you know. Like I was really particular even for like my albums, like not featuring people and stuff, and like finding my own voice first. But like I could cry, but like JC really helped me find my freestyles and like supported me when I was like, in the pot, in the pan. He was like, that's great, when I lived on his couch. You know what I mean?
He's
And like
such a good hype man. I love JC.
I love JC.
He's a very welcoming
Shout out.
and encouraging guy
is.
when it comes to recording. Yeah, he's awesome.
And you are also supremely talented. I mean, he doesn't
Thank
just
you.
hype up anyone, for the record.
Yeah, but I
What
needed
just
that.
buzzed?
Yeah, I heard
Something
that.
I think a camera
Something
stopped. Let me
beeped.
check.
Okay.
Keep going.
Oh,
Jack's on the AC.
Did this one die?
I don't know. It sounds like something's crashed.
Am I getting too deep on your podcast?
No, I appreciate it. It's
Okay.
good. As long as I'm not getting too drunk to participate,
No,
we're good.
we're good. We're good.
Oh yeah, you're not getting too deep at all.
Okay.
It's so interesting with music, too.
I'm in
'cause
a
I
deep
used
mood
to like...
today.
Like I hiked into the Grand Canyon once, and it was so cool. But I learned about myself on that trip. Like if I was playing music, I'd be near the front of the pack. I was literally dancing as I walked, super energized, like feeling so good.
It can change your whole
Oh my
vibe.
God. And then as soon as I was like trying to conserve battery and put it away for a break, I'd be the back of the pack, huffing and puffing. But it just, I don't know. There's just music, man. God
I
bless
was watching
It's powerful.
Just God bless it.
Bill Nye in some like Complex video about shoes, and he
Okay.
I don't know, you can look it up, Bill Nye and Complex, but yeah, and they were mentioning that like he did some running podcast or something about running. I shouldn't speak on this because I don't know it too well, but on like running, and they were like, everyone said they ran better, but you know, I think like sonically, like there's certain things that just help, you know. Some it's Bill Nye podcasts, and for me it's music.
Oh, people ran better while listening
to Bill
Nye.
Nye
Oh.
talk about running.
Oh,
Funny.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I could see why it would be like a kick in the ass, so to speak. It's
I
like,
mean-
come on, we can all do this.
Well, in a situation like that too, the distraction is kind of nice because you're not able to think like every step like fuck, here I go, I'm still fucking running. You kind of can distract yourself like distract your brain from the fact that your body's going through all this like uncomfortable shit of running.
I've been
and
told
your brain is just thinking about whatever
that
you're listening
you're
to.
not supposed to listen to music when you run.
Why?
Because you're supposed to like pay attention to your breath and
Feel the hurt.
feel the pain. But I also know like it is easy to lose my breath and get off pace running when I find like a song with a super fast tempo that I really like, and then all of a sudden, but I don't think it's that bad to all of a sudden run too fast and then have to slow down because you got winded. Like that's literally the point.
But you know.
Yeah. It just, and I drive faster too when I hear a song that I like, that it's like fast tempo that I'm really into. All of a sudden I'm speeding. Like there's just so many things that happen
Music
without
is
thinking.
powerful. Think about like, you know, like I always think about cavemen before words where they were like, ah, ooh, ah. You know, they were making songs. They were
Right.
jamming.
Oh yeah, you know that they were smashing little rocks and like they had their percussion. They figured it out.
Yeah.
Man,
Music can be healing.
It'd be so cool to hear if there were recordings of that, like just cavemen like jamming, like the first like drum circle, like.
That reminds me of this
We
time.
should YouTube that or some shit.
I mean, they wouldn't record it. How'd
No,
they-
but someone just like YouTube like earliest. I listened to like the first rap the other day. You know, like let's get off like the
Earliest recorded like rhythm.
raps or rhythms. Yeah,
Wow.
I'd
If
love
that
to
video
look that
doesn't
up.
exist, we should make it. Just like create a caveman drum set circle, you know, just have it happen.
Yeah, like the first one ever.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
it's-
words allowed.
music is a wild thing. Like I don't know why like we have it. Like what, you know, I don't know. It's like,
Because
I mean, I guess it's just tied into language and like auditory expression.
But music is
emotion.
medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like think about the blues. Like there's a pain and then it comes out in sound. I think that's really what it is. It's a release of an emotion, whether that's happy and you're elated and in love and you want to shout it from the rooftop,
It's
or
a
you're
universal language because we all
devastated.
feel it. You know,
Yeah.
like if you're devastated, if someone's devastated and they channel that into a song and then they make a devastating song, people who are in a devastating moment connect to that devastating sound. You know,
Right. And like sad chords sound sad. Like a sad song sounds sad no matter what language you speak or anything.
It's a testament to the method acting, though, because what you see is like you said, it's like a pure version of the emotion that's at stake in that moment. So it's true for you, it's true for the character, right? Because it's the same. If you really thought so intentionally about who that character is, what they're thinking, what they need next,
I like the
all
way
those
that she
things.
moves. That's a lyric by Pop Smoke.
Pop Smoke.
I remembered it.
That's good.
I'm sorry to
Amazing.
interrupt.
Oh no, it's OP.
I'm excited for like the future because like this really what art is just like expressing an emotion so that someone could feel it. Even like watching an Avengers movie, you feel powerful. You feel like wow, this, or like watching a movie about like love, like you feel what it's like to feel in love. Or a sad song makes you feel sad.
That's why I act,
or
just
whatever.
to make people awaken people's feeling body, or get them to connect to like a feeling.
You give them
'cause
what that
a lot of
feeling's
people walk numb these days, I think, and that's not for me to say. I'm not in anyone's body, but we do become kind of desensitized, you know. And sensitivity is such a gift.
And I think in the future, when like our brains are connected and shit, I wonder if you'll be able to send like just like the actual emotion, you know, like forget
Kanye,
like a sad song to help you understand how sad I am. Like I'll just like, there's the sadness. Like now you're feeling what I'm feeling. Or here's what it feels like to even just like be me.
Empathy.
Yeah, empathy. It's like the ultimate empathy.
Kanye and Good Morning America, I have this weird fascination with him now because he followed me, and I was like, how do you know that? You know, I don't know. It just tripped me out a little bit. But I really enjoy what he said on that Good Morning America show that he did the other day, about how like a lot of the future will be nonverbal and more like, you know, we'll really think before we speak about like what words we're using, you know? Because I think language is so like thrown around these days that it loses its emotion or meaning sometimes. I'm not like, you know,
No,
a Ye fanatic, and sorry for saying Kanye. I know it's Ye, but I'm catching up with the times.
I love Kanye West.
I do too.
No offense taken, certainly. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, you know, texting, right? Texting is words. And then now we have emojis, which like, it says so much more with such less, you know? And like, I wonder if we're sort of heading more that direction. We're like, yeah, be less verbal, be more of just like, I I don't know what the emoji equivalent would be.
A Buddha.
Well, I mean, I think it's already happening, right? Like, I think probably every parent of a teenager would be like, I never talk to my kid anymore, right? They're just like sitting and texting all the time. But it's interesting too, because I mean, we already know that so much of communication is nonverbal. So we could get away with it. Oh, that's what it was reminding me. Like, do you ever feel like as an artist, like it's all been done before? Like sometimes like with lyrics and things, it can feel like
Repetitive.
it's all been said before, it's all been done, or like all like so many great love songs have been made, so many this, so many that. Like, do you feel like there's room for you? Do you feel like there's an abundance, or do you
I
feel like it's
there's
so
definitely
saturated?
room for everyone. I think dreams are unique. I think that sometimes like physical materials are like limited, you know, like we use the paper from the trees, and we use, you know, like some of our tools or like our references are like there to like reference and riff off of, but no one's ever going to be, you know, me acting in ultrasound or me acting in this movie, you know, like that's a unique idea to like Connor, the writer of that, you know, like his imagination. But I think everyone's imagination is unique, but I don't know about that debate. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's again with music, like it's fascinating that at least Western music and just most music is like 12 notes. There's only 12 notes. And the like shit people have been able to do with just these 12 notes. Wow. So many different songs, so many different, I mean, every song you ever heard, there's only 12 notes that exist.
Really?
Yeah. It's repeated over and over. So like there's multiple
and there's
octaves
like different
of those 12
variations
notes
of it. Yeah.
But there's just 12 notes. It's just
really for karaoke,
different sets of them, different groups.
Pick 'em.
But 12 notes, it's like 12 words. It's like if only 12 words existed and we've just
Or
reordered them
letters.
to
This
write
is
infinite
it. It's
books.
that it's simplicity. The core
crazy.
of who we are is so simple.
Yeah.
But to get there, it's a complex journey.
It is. Music is a wild thing. And it's also like scientifically adds up too. Like one person could look at painting and be like, oh, I love it. One person could say like, oh, it makes me feel shitty. Mm-hmm. But like harmonies, like you can measure them like scientifically, like two notes that harmonize together, their sine waves, their sound waves will fit together.
Wow.
When sounds are dissonant and weird, like you wouldn't even have to see it, or hear it. You could just see the sound waves and tell that that's out of key, that's a harmony. Like it scientifically breaks down.
Hey, I love the way it looks
so
too,
crazy.
the sound waves when you look at them, and like you can see.
Yeah.
I don't know, they're so beautiful watching them like get really big when you do crazy range, and then they're all small and narrow, and you keep things the same. It's
I think I have an
beautiful thing.
artist friend, Ben Heim, who does something with technology and sound, and like it creates patterns, and I'm always amazed when I see his Instagram. I'm like, whoa.
That sounds cool.
Oh yeah, like if you put a note, like put a bunch of salt on a speaker, it'll like reshape.
I'd
and
have
if you
to
change
ask
the
him. I'll
note,
show you
it
his
takes a
Instagram.
different shape. It's really wild.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's like you can pour just like salt. People will do it, and they'll put it under a speaker. And if you play like a G, it'll just like fall into a shape, and then you change it to like a C note, and it'll go zzz, and it'll like now
so
hold like
cool.
a
That's
new
nature
shape.
for you.
It's so crazy, and it's
Honestly.
like mathematical, like music and sound, and the way it like affects us is like. I mean, I don't know. I don't fully get it, but there's something really powerful
I think
there.
like the best thing is not knowing, you know, like having an inner knowingness of who you are, and then letting like the universe reveal. Like I always ask, like, I don't know the answer to this, but like, you know, God, universe, whatever will show me.
Do you?
Good. A little
Are you a
trust in
person
it.
with like goals, career goals? Like,
Oh yeah.
So you're.
Oh,
She's
I
got to
like.
stoke in every fire in the city. Like, come on.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. You
What's that?
like. Because with this, like, you know, going with the flow and stuff, but also like having.
Oh, I'm a very serious person about my
Very
art.
serious,
yeah,
goal
like
driven.
since I was 7, yeah, it's a calling from God, and I can get floaty and like deep, but like I'm like very clear on like my mission here, and that's just being an artist, and yeah, I make like lists, but it's less like it's more momentarily, you know, like what are my goals today? And what are my goals tomorrow and maybe like a year from now for this year? Mm-hmm. You know, kind of like when the New Year's comes, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's more like deep to me, and but my goal has always been to be an actress, but now my goal is to be also a poet through music, and freestyle and channel truth in that way.
I know you like really turned up your freestyling in like COVID. Is that
Yes.
right? Did it start earlier than that, the music?
Actually, I don't study with Eastern healers anymore because it's kind of like a little loose for me right now, but I was studying with a shaman at the time, and they had a vision of me freestyling, they told me, in a dream. And I have been freestyling since I was maybe 12 into voice memos, but none of my friends knew I made music. It was like the shyest, least confident part of me. Like acting, I was like, I'm an actress. And with music, it was like, this is my vulnerable journal. Like I can hide behind Betsy and play Betsy, but like with music, it's like all on the table. Like I have to stick behind every bar, you know? And
Ooh,
that,
the truth.
Yeah, it sounds like
that was terrifying to
Yeah.
me. And then
That
when I
is
met
scary.
like, you know, JC, and I started growing up and like meeting other people, you know, I actually got a, like, I don't know if I should say this on that. But I got conned, and like when the Wall Street protests were going on, someone was like, hey, do you want to come like freestyle? And like, you know, they're whatever. And I like was freestyling outside of this, I guess like private estate that I wasn't allowed to be on in New York City. And I got handcuffed while freestyling. and then there was
That's
like a
how Ye
homeless
knows
man.
you.
No, I have no idea how, but there was like
He's
a
off.
homeless man next to me with a sleeping bag. And I was freestyling for like, you know, whatever. I was just like kind of on one and young and like wanting to freestyle.
This was during the Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, and
stuff?
I went
Okay.
to Pace University. I went to Pace University for different things like acting, because I in order to be an actress, I had to go to acting, like a theater class, because I have been in movies since I was 7. And so, yeah, I was just like freestyling. I was like, I want peace, we will all be free, or whatever it was. Some really bad rhyme that JC would have been like, good job, Chelsea. And this like gnarly cop walks over and is like, is that your sleeping bag? And I was like, no, sir, no, sir. And tears just streamed down my face. And everyone like crescendoed and like, it wasn't her. Like, she didn't even know that we weren't supposed to be here. Like, she was just singing with us. And it was this maniac, crazy moment in my life when I was very young. But I had just turned 18 and I didn't have an ID on me. And he was like, anyone who doesn't have an ID is going to jail. And I was like, oh shit, I got a student ID, like, you know. And I somehow, like, the person who owned the building came down and like miraculously got me out of the situation and was like, she's not with them. Because I wasn't trying to occupy Wall Street or like, you know, like,
You just wanted to freestyle.
I literally was just like, oh, you want to freestyle, dude? Yeah, let's go
You're trying to
down
have
the
a
street.
cipher.
Yeah, like I was trying to just like, you know.
God,
Wow.
that's
But that
so
was
funny.
a wild memory that, yeah, here we are now.
Illegal freestyling.
I like to hear almost arrest stories. They're way better than arrest
I've never
stories.
been arrested other than that, but
I've only
and
been
they let
almost
me
arrested
go,
as
so
well.
it's not really arrest.
Almost arrested beats arrested. I can speak from experience.
Were you arrested?
I have been arrested before,
Wow.
yeah.
She killed a guy.
As a
No,
minor. Also
I
as a
don't
minor.
believe it.
Didn't kill anybody. But man, they tried to stack up some charges. Trespassing, possession of alcohol and marijuana, consumption of alcohol and marijuana. They tacked a burglary charge on there.
You
They were
poor
just getting
thing.
everything. No, it's all right. It's just...
We all have our paths, you know, like towards
Yeah.
the truth.
For sure.
But that was kind of a similar situation. The homeowner was like, I'm not interested in pressing charges against these kids. I gave them permission to be in
That's
our
nice of
house.
her.
And like, that's how we got out. But the cops were all about, they had that same attitude. They were like, anybody without IDs is going to jail. They're fuckers. So I have to tell my
Christine
true
just like, pigs
truth.
go home. Bunch of pigs.
Fry like bacon.
She's turning-
No,
Oh, man.
it's police. I won't get started.
So how much like acting, studying have you done? And do you think can you study too much? Like with music, when people learn too much, they sort of lose this ability like
To be free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I studied way too much.
You did study too much.
Probably a little bit, but I'm so grateful for everything I learned from my mentor. Like, she is the best teacher the most amazing soul, and she guided me like in a time that like I really needed guidance.
How many years were you studying with her?
Probably from like 8 years old to like 20 years.
Wow.
I'm just gonna guess.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So
Wait, how old are you now?
I don't say it out loud.
You don't say it out loud? Well,
It's
we'll
a
ask.
mystery.
We'll ask off air, perhaps.
Yeah. Just,
Write it down on a piece of paper.
I will,
and pass it to me. But okay.
Ready? Yeah. I'm ancient.
Well, I'm about to turn 33.
Really?
The age of the Lord when he died.
Coming up.
God bless.
The guy did a lot, really pales, really makes you think about what you've accomplished so far.
I believe like Jesus was a shaman.
Mm.
Like.
So you think there's a real guy who exists named Jesus, or whatever version of that name he would have had,
and he was just like he was a healer. He was like enlightened. He walked his path, and showed and died for others, like that. It's possible.
Mm-hmm. Did you grow up very Christian?
I grew up Catholic, actually.
Mm-hmm. And like.
But I got so sick on my communion, so I had like a very visceral reaction to religion for some reason. I did CCD. I taught CCD for actually.
I did CCD.
What's CCD?
I was also raised Catholic.
Really
FYI.
catechism school. It's like where you learn about Jesus and you learn about like.
It's like Sunday school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically for Catholics. But I got baptized. I had my communion. I did all of that stuff. But
what about the confirmation? That's where I stopped.
Did the confirmation. I did
not
it all.
Confirm the status.
She cannot confirm nor deny.
It's never too late.
Presence of the Lord. Is there parts of that you still carry with you that you like about it?
It was interesting to like play a nun in that film novitiate because there was something like a little demeaning about being like a woman on your knees, like praying to a man. Like there's something just like strange to me about it, but I believe that like Jesus existed and that he did good and was a, kind of like a human who was on to truth.
Yeah. I think I grew up Lutheran and
cool.
I don't believe it anymore, but like, I don't know if Jesus
I also want to say I respect all religions.
Sure, of course. I don't know if Jesus existed or not, but like this at the root of what Christianity is that like we got this guy Jesus. He's basically like as good as you could be, like always nice, like never hurtful, like do your best to be like that. Like try to be as like Christ-like, try to be as kind as you can, try to forgive people, try to turn the other cheek. Like that concept is like impossible.
I don't know why this rhyme just came up, but it's like walking like I talk about walk like, talk like, walk like Jesus. That's the rhyme.
It's like for the Christian radio station.
Yeah, Chelsea, Ye's gonna show up at your door. He's gonna buy a house right next to you, and he's gonna show up.
Yeah, his church.
Life is a trip.
But yeah, I like the just the general concept of like what Jesus represents. I actually kind of dig. There was a time in my life I was like, fuck Jesus and fuck all this thing, but I kind of like the guy now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not like, it's not my immediate maybe like prayer source, but it's definitely like I think of how good he was, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's just like, to me, it's just an example. Like, just do your best. Try to be like that. That's like our little example of like the best you could do. Do your best to be
Humility,
like
humble, like all that shit. Like
kind, charitable.
Yeah, my honors English teacher also said like all I have to offer is my own confusion. I don't know where that's from, but I used to draw it on my whiteboard, and I like to change it now a little bit to like all I have is clarity, therefore all I have to offer is confusion. Kind of like do a little twist on
addition. That's fun.
Do you like identify with disrupting things?
I was a rebel as a kid. I used to tag actually ms.understood in my school at Pace. I felt very misunderstood as a kid. Yeah.
Misunderstood. That's pretty good.
It was kind of clever.
That's dope, honestly. You should bring that back. That's a brand line right there.
At least like that's an album name. Misunderstood.
Oh, actually, I've been looking for my next album name. I was thinking unknown rhymes that will be known in time, but maybe it'll be misunderstood.
Like in parentheses, misunderstood. It's like that title.
It's super long.
Yeah, it's
but back in
long.
the day, titles were longer.
It could be as long as you want.
Yeah.
It's your album.
I wonder what the length is. Like,
My first album was like 34 tracks, but it was all freestyles and it just happened.
Yeah. So with the music, like, how are you sort of approaching it? It's just like...
I'm learning as I go, because acting I have
it.
a lot more like grounding and like, you know, understanding of, because I've studied it like a craft forever. But I'm humble to the fact that I'm new to music. But I also know that like it's its own calling as well. Of like I should be expressing myself and like standing behind my voice, you know. But you know, my boyfriend, like, he writes very, like, we were talking about repetition and writing the other day and things like that. Like, I really admire artists who do that. But for me, it's like, once it leaves me, I don't want to edit it. And if I do edit it, it's like a layering or like a, make this a lower voice and this higher voice, like playing with it. But I like music to be playful and like free form. That's when I'm happiest.
I like it. Is it nice to start a craft where you certainly haven't been over-taught or like overlearned, like you're like able to innocently kind of just
figure it out as I go.
Yeah, like,
and like there's like 9,000 people, or like I have 9,000 streams, or like almost 10K streams, and I'm like,
it's amazing.
Cool. And my rule with music is like, even if my music touches one person, and even if that one person's myself, then I've done my job. And it's touched maybe 10,000 listeners, or maybe it's five people who have listened to it 10,000 times, but that's far more than I imagined, you know?
It's cool when you think about the misunderstood version of yourself as a kid, and you're like, damn, like, this song could mean
everything I do,
like that security blanket for somebody, you know? And like, God, who hasn't experienced that with music? I know you didn't have a truly angsty
I didn't have too much angst.
but I had a lot of
Not
growing.
really
What was your vibe when you were
pains.
little? You did?
Oh, for sure.
Hey, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Misunderstood.
Oh, yeah.
Women of
For
the
sure.
world.
I was just like, yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. You know?
It was sunny.
I was having a good time.
Little sunshine.
Aww,
I didn't have like
you are
an
sunshine.
angsty
So yellow.
face. But
So lovely and bright.
yeah, you know.
But you must have had, did you have a lot of supportive, like, people around you when you're, like, being, like, encouraging and stuff?
Yeah, I was encouraged.
Oh, cool.
Well, like, yeah, my parents were like, do whatever you want,
Same.
as long as it makes you happy, and you know. So there was no pressure to like be sort of
different.
You're gonna be a doctor.
Yeah.
You better like, you know. It was just like
That's the best thing a parent can do.
it was really
Seriously.
good.
Period. My
Yeah,
mom
grateful.
like taught me to follow my dreams and like brought me to every audition when I was like so little. I was like in rooms with pretty like powerful people, and then I was really young, you know? Like, yeah, it's wild. Some people who have passed too, you know, and like it's just like my mom was just like, you walk out and you smile and like you don't take it personally. And she told me the most amazing thing, which was directors have dreams like you do, because I lucid dream. And she was like, directors have dreams, and so does she. She's like, directors have dreams like you at night, and they envision the character, and when you walk into the audition room, it's not personal. It's just you popped up in their dream or you didn't. You know what I mean? And
That's
I thought
good.
that was a really cool way. But I did learn that, like, later on in life, that rejection hurts. It's not a smiling process. Like, I didn't get it. Like, you know, like, I was supposed to be in Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, that Sidney Lumet movie. And I remember going to the fair and telling everyone, because Sidney Lumet told me I got it in the room.
Ooh.
And I was like, I got it. But then they switched, like, I forget who is in that movie, but, like, Philip Seymour Hoffman and Dustin Hoffman, they, like, switched the roles. So I
Hoffman
didn't
for
look.
another.
Yeah, whatever. I forget. But, like, I didn't, I didn't, like, match the character anymore. And so I was like, I felt ripped. And, like, I remember being, like, trying to like radically accept it and be smiling at a young age. But then I came to a point, and this started me off with music too, which is like, oh fuck, that shit hurt. Like being rejected, like, and like in the shadow of like, whether it was Dakota Fanning or this or that, whatever my agents were yapping and telling me at the time. I love my team now, and I loved my team then, but it was just not the right fit. But I came to like accept that, and that was a super healing process for me. And I was like, wait, I'm not just an actor. I am an actress, but I'm not just that. I'm a creative being, and I'm gonna like use my voice in multiple forms. And then I started creative directing and styling, and like that was just so freeing to like not put myself in a mental box of like, I am this. Like I don't live in labels anymore. I live in like my truth, you know? And that's cool. And I think my inner child's proud of that.
That's really cool.
Do you still carry with you? Yeah, I've been having the same issue. like I want it to sit up, but
I want it to be longer.
Down,
it's like
and then it gets
cute
caught
little leash.
like right there on the lip, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! I've been dealing with it the whole time. We got to do something
It's
about
okay.
this.
We got this. I love your podcast.
Yeah, thanks for doing our
Thank you
podcast.
for having me. I hope I didn't get too deep. I'm a
No.
deep soul.
Not at all.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
I love it, and what I
Lovely
love about
chat.
this podcast more than anything is like we get to just have these deep talks with people. Like
Also, I
you
know
and
you work for Steve-O, and he's so cool. He's so fearless. I was just gonna say that.
He's rad. He's the
Yeah.
man. I agree.
I bet.
Yeah, he makes you feel real comfortable because he's like he's
Goofy.
fucked up in every single way. That like there's like no judgment if you're like kind of a fuck up.
That's the best people to be around. No judgment.
Yeah. But I was gonna say I really like this show and like I've known you sort of peripherally for years, but we never really got to sit down and like
It's true.
get into shit, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm grateful for it. I love it. I'm glad you did the
grateful.
show.
I was a little scared because interviews like, this is kind of like music right now. Like, you know what I mean? Because you're a friend of mine and you are too, even peripherally or not. I feel safe with you. And so I knew the truth was just going to come out. And sometimes I have like my actor face on when I'm doing certain interviews,
So you're used to if you're doing an interview, you should be sort
I'm
of on.
always
and,
myself. I'm never like on, but I do have to be like ground. My mantra before I start interviews, and I did it in your bathroom, was just like ground, trust, and listen. Like all what we were talking about, the noisy head or whatever. Like just like ground, trust, listen, and be curious what we're gonna talk about. Like a kid would be curious, like would be like, and I love being in a state of awe lately of like, I wonder what this next moment's gonna bring.
That's always good, right? Like that
Yeah.
excitement and the wonder about what the future holds. That's when people are at
Because
their
you don't want
worst
to
when
be
they lose
jaded.
that.
I love my dad. He's an actor now. He's always studied with me, but now he's like a professional actor. He just worked with Beyonce and some people.
Cool.
But he'll make tapes. He's staying with me right now, and he'll make tapes, and he'll like put his glasses on. He's like the least jaded artist I know. He's like ready to go and like making tapes, and like it just I've been doing it since I was so young that there's sometimes that like a script doesn't resonate with me or something in the past, and then I'm like, I've learned to say no, but there were times that I didn't say no and then still did it and would like kind of like be like, I don't want to do this tape or this or that. And now I just do shit that, excuse my language, but things that
You can say whatever you
resonate.
want. Say shit.
Yeah. But things that resonate with my heart, and projects that I feel I can bring intrinsic talent to the table too, kind of thing.
It's
It's
cool.
awesome. Kind of know your strengths and
Know yourself, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Good song
probably
by Drake.
better for everybody, right? It'll bring out the best in you, which brings out the best in the project. But if you're just kind of forcing it, that's
Yeah.
like a contagious thing. Like
I
you
also
said.
love when they give me like space to create. Like my last project, Javier Renya was the director, and he like let me creatively enhance the character, like style it a little bit with the costume designer, and I got to wear some of my clothes and like collaborate with the designer on it, and then like have a black lip the whole time that I used to do when I created Loner of Love in my garage when I was like 14 or something.
Wait,
in
Loner
Ice-T.
Love?
Loner of Love. It's
Loner
a
of
company that I started, a creative direction company, and the idea behind it was to have someone like like Fenty or like hire me to then do the creative direction, and then the funds, I would make money from acting, but the funds from my creative direction would go to the homeless or like to a charity, Black Lives Matter, whatever it may be, but like give proceeds from that side of my brain away, and then make money through acting and music.
Cool.
Well, is that
That's
still
a
active?
dream.
You're still doing that?
I have like 300 followers on Instagram.
But it's a thing. It's ongoing.
It's gonna happen, and I'm gonna. I sew with my boyfriend and stuff, and I love recycling and upcycling, and I'd like to sell things one day. I just am more focused on acting right now than anything else.
Are you
I love
acting
that idea.
in a project at the moment, or like?
I just finished one, and then from that, I have 2 lined up. The director and I are talking speculatively about one. I'm waiting for him to edit the last movie. And then, I don't know if I can say it, but it's not definitely happening, but Molly Robber, a short film that I had in Tribeca. I had 2 movies in Tribeca last year. And Molly Robber was one of them, and it's like one of my favorite characters. Her name's Baker, and they're on like the 3rd draft of a feature.
Very cool.
And so I'm just kind of like waiting, and I've realized that like rather than doing a bunch of acting projects, my energy is best served by making albums in the meantime and working at a bakery.
Great.
And then I work at a bakery that I love in my neighborhood, and it's like connects me to people. And yeah, and so I've been doing that. And then I have another film that's supposed to be kind of like a Squid Games type film. That's up in the air that I'm waiting to hear about in December.
Cool.
Right on.
So what's this one
Good
that they're
luck.
editing into a feature?
It's actually, have you ever seen Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes.
So
course. Love
Pedro,
Napoleon.
you know Pedro?
Yeah.
He's after me and my gang.
Okay. So it's like
and he plays
a horror
cop.
thriller kind of
It's
spooky.
it's dark.
Dark.
It's dark. We work, me and my gang of boys. I'm kind of like the lead, girl of the gang. And it's with this kid from Twilight named Kellen Lutz as well. And he plays also like a character in it. And yeah, we all did a dark movie, but it's gonna be fucking rad. It was like, her name's Roxy. I like felt really powerful like in that part, and yeah, I'm really excited to see it. But we work for like, I don't want to give it all away, but we work for like a child trafficking gang, me and the boys, and it's the cops are after us, and it's
So the cop is
shit
sort of a
fucking
good
happens.
guy. If you're
You'll have to
child
wait and
trafficking,
see. Yeah,
or is he
it
a
was
good guy?
yeah, it's gonna be a good movie though, and I'm really excited for it. And it just was a great, lovely, supportive team.
Cool. Can't wait to see it. I've never seen
Yeah.
you act in anything.
Wow.
What else can I see?
I did like a Ridley Scott executive produced movie called Phoenix Forgotten. It's a found VHS footage movie, and I think you'd like that.
Okay.
It's about aliens and shit.
I love it.
And then what other one would you? I would like you to watch Are We Not Cats?
Okay.
That's one of my favorites.
Are We Not Cats?
Yeah, by Xander Robin.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a trippy body horror film.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Spooky season, just
Yeah,
in
shame
time.
on me that I've never seen you act.
I
in
do a
something.
lot
I
of
have to
dark
see.
things. I'm a light, like fun person,
Right.
but I just, for some reason I get hired for dark stuff.
You do it well, though. I think
Thank you.
you can't know true light if you don't know the darkness.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're not going to find a better ending note than that. Well, this was
Follow the
great.
light.
Thank you for
Yeah.
doing this, Chelsea.
Thank you, my
And now we're going to hang out and make some music a little bit.
Let's do
I
it.
hope
Let's
so.
see
My
what comes
feet are
out.
tapping. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
fuck yeah.
Me
We're ready.
too.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Peace.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you, babe. That was so fun.
That was fun.